Hello, welcome to another Journeys with Jeff. Nice to see you and glad you could join us. We have a great guest, as always. Very, very fascinating, interesting, lifelong musician and songwriter, Paul Lombardo. Well, Paul Lombardo, welcome to the show. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Thanks for having me.
Nice to have you with us.
Yeah.
So you were raised in Hartford and Wethersfield.
Hartford, born in Hartford. Shortly after, I think in the second grade, we moved to Wethersfield, where I grew up.
I see. And who's we? We is
Family, the family. You know, they wouldn't let a young kid just move to Wethersfield.
I mean, how big is your family?
Well, I have two sisters, we're all 2 years apart, and then I have a brother, younger brother, who's 10 years apart. And he wasn't born when we moved to Wethersfield, so he was born after that, obviously. I moved there in second grade and grew up in Wethersfield.
Italian family?
Big Italian family, yeah.
You remember
absolutely.
your mother's cooking? Did your mother cook good stuff? Good zuppa
I had so many good cooks in both my grandmothers were great cooks, you know. Never wanted for anything. It was just delicious food. Yeah, it was very good.
Well, and what about what was your, you've been a lifelong musician and songwriter. What happened? What was one of your early experiences?
Well, an early experience was my first musical experience was when I was 4. I sang Hound Dog at my Uncle Rich's wedding with the band. Up on stage in my little tuxedo, and I received $2 for doing that, and
that's a big payday.
That started it all.
Wow.
I
Did
said,
you get to keep
the
whole
bucks
$2?
are rolling in now?
Did you get to keep the $2?
I did.
Yeah. So you spent it.
I don't know where I spent
cards?
it. Probably baseball cards or candy, something like that.
Cool, man. That's cool.
It was very cool. But from then on, when I grew up in Wethersfield, my Uncle Rich was my first mentor, if you will. He studied classical guitar, and I was always drawn to it, always drawn to him playing. And he and I just had this great relationship. He was like my second father. And then I picked up classical guitar in my freshman year of high school.
Now, you didn't play in the school band.
And I did not play in a school band.
Did you have private lessons?
I had private lessons, to study classical guitar with Walter K. Bauer, who was actually world-renowned. Classical guitar teacher living in Wethersfield in a little house.
And after high school, you picked it up. You went to Hart School of Music.
Well, during high school, it sort of changed. It morphed from classical, which gave me a great bass. It morphed into playing folk music, James Taylor, Cat Stevens, all the music in the early 70s, going on like that. And then after high school, I did attend Hart School of Music for a year. And I realized that the school atmosphere just wasn't right for me. So I went and got my education privately, my guitar education in music theory from Ray Casarino, music theory, Sal Salvador, Pat Metheny on the guitar side of things. And I just continued it on my own.
This is back in the 70s?
70s, or early 70s, yeah,
What was
mid-70s.
going on music-wise in your environment? What was going on with mainstream music at that time?
Well, it was the folk era. It was the folk era of James Taylor, and all that. That what I was drawn to and gravitated towards the singer-songwriter. And in the early 70s, I met a young guy named Tom Russo in 72. And we became lifelong partners for the most part for almost 50 years until, unfortunately, he passed away. But we had a great career. So from that point on, we were writing songs together. We were traveling to New York. And that was a great time for music. In the city. Tom and I would go take our acoustic guitars and meet with every publisher in the city. I mean, we sat down in front of Clive Davis with 2 acoustic guitars and played music for him. And all of the people at Chrysalis, RCA. Finally, we got signed to a Comerica Music, a record deal, which quickly went south because they also handled Eric Carmen, and he had a big lawsuit for the song All By Myself. It was a Rachmaninoff piece. They went to litigations. We were the new kids on the block. They dropped us like a potato, a very hot one. And that was late. That was late in the 70s.
Why do you suppose they dropped you?
Well, because the financial responsibility they had fighting this lawsuit, and also the cost of bringing a new artist to bear, to the world.
So you had a few near misses.
Near misses, yeah.
You had some opportunities with some of these. Now, what, as far as generating income, you wrote jingles and
well, we were always
for
generating income.
Commercials?
Yeah, we did that, and after that, we were always playing in gigs, and we were always teaching guitar. So that was our source of income. In 1984, our career path changed, and Tom and I formulated a business called L&R Productions, and we wrote jingles across the country. To date, we probably about 5,000 jingles all over the country. So that was a great source of income. We had wonderful business. We had employees. We had the whole 9 yards. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Who were some of the interesting people in the 70s and 80s? Who were some of the interesting people that you brushed up against and met? Well,
a lot of the studio players in New York early on in our career, Eric Weisberg, Lou Soloff, quite a few of those people. Vinnie Bell played the Satisfaction line actually on the Rolling Stones. That was his guitar.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. And we learned our production chops in some of the greatest studios in New York. And, we've met a few people, not a lot, not a lot of people. But it just, in '84, we turned the business into the jingle business. Songwriting kind of got in the back seat a little bit.
So, but now the writing, all these years later, you're still at it.
I'm still at it. I left L&R Productions, I think in 2013, and Tom kept it going, and I left for health reasons, and he kept it going, and he was still writing jingles, and whenever I could perform on them, I would. But at that point, I decided that's when I went left. I became the artist. I had a beautiful studio in my home, and I just started writing songs, and I said, I'm going to be a songwriter at that point. One of the songs we're going to hear today was the last song that Tommy and I wrote called It Sucks Getting Old.
Yeah, I
which
heard
it
that.
does, to a degree. I love getting old, but it has its problems.
It has its downside. So yeah, our viewers are going to be listening to that.
Yeah, and that was a great song that Tom and I wrote together. A lot of fun, and it's a video too. We did a video to it, and it's just a parody on getting old.
When I was young, way back when, but our crew changed tricks now and then. The clock has toiled the years, my friend. It sucks getting old. It sucks. Was once a lad and oh so bold, but now I'm timid as a toad. Now I plod when once I strode. It sucks getting old. It sucks getting old.
I look in the mirror and all I see is this old man looking back at me. Seems like yesterday when I was just a kid, but the mirror didn't lie like I wished it did. My bones are getting brittle, as weak as can be. Snap, crackle, pop, there goes my knee. Getting out of bed is such a chore. Sometimes in the morning I end up on the floor. There's a wrinkle here, another wrinkle
I hope you enjoyed hope you enjoyed that, and related to our age level. You could something to relate to. If you're younger, it's something you can look forward to. But that was fantastic.
Thank you.
Fantastic
Thank
writing.
you. Thank you very much.
And musical stuff. But I know that currently you're doing a lot of activity. There's a lot of stuff going on down in Nashville, Tennessee.
Right. A couple months ago, I signed a contract with Murph Publishing in Nashville, and they're representing me and my music and getting it out there to the people who need to hear it.
And the contract includes what? That they're gonna. How does it work? They take your
It
music
works.
and
It
expose
works that they have
market
the
it?
exposure to all these people in the record business. They can get the songs to the people. I could write songs all day, but if they're not heard, it doesn't do any good.
Yeah.
So there's so much more to songwriting than just songwriting. It's the business aspect of it, and you have to be on top of that, and you have to push that as well.
Yeah.
To get heard.
Yeah.
And there's some great things happening for me down there. I've studied with Chris Wallen for a year, who's a multi-platinum songwriter, and we have a great relationship, and he's just turned me on to, he was the one that introduced me to Ray Hamilton, who's the CEO of Murph Publishing.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been, you go back and forth to Nashville, or?
I haven't been back and forth as of yet, but I
Most
will
of
be
it you
going
do
back.
over the
Yeah, over
computer.
the Zoom and, through email and such.
We also want to mention also for the viewers, in addition to what you're hearing in this program, you want to hear more of Paul Lombardo and his music. You're on YouTube.
I have a YouTube channel.
So how would people get that? How would they access that?
Well, I would imagine they would just go to YouTube
and punch
and
in.
punch in Paul Lombardo and Paul. There's quite a few, and they'll come up. But they will see me, and they will see my picture.
Yeah.
I also am on SoundCloud, and you can access my music through there. And I am on Facebook, P-Boy Music.
Okay.
You'll be able to access It Sucks Getting Old on YouTube as well,
Okay.
and all through my channels.
Has anybody recorded any of your songs, any of your music?
One person has,
Who?
and it was Andre Bocelli.
Bocelli.
Yes.
Who is he? And
Well, he's a very famous singer.
yeah, the name. I
ring a bell?
I've heard the name. Yeah.
He's very famous.
Oh,
he's very
so he's recorded.
He's
one
recorded.
of
Well,
your
I'll
songs.
tell you the story. We had a manager in London, both Tom and I, and we wrote a song called "Till We See You Again." Andre Bocelli got a hold of the song, loved it, was going in to do his new CD. So he had thousands of songs presented to his manager, and boiled down to 16 songs, and ours was in that 16 songs list. And he went in and recorded all of them. And unfortunately, ours did not make the CD.
Oh.
Yeah, unfortunately, but and the unfortunate part of that story is I couldn't hear it. They wouldn't let us hear it. They wouldn't give us a copy because we could have bootlegged it. It was all legalities, they couldn't do that. But just to know that he sang that song and it got that far was gratifying.
Well, I guess like any other business, there's a lot of red tape and hurdles you have to go through.
Well, you have to love rejection to be a
legalities and all that
songwriter, or an artist. You
Love
have to love rejection, yes. Tom and I used to call, we used to, early in the 70s when we would send songs in, we would get form letters back. We really appreciate you sending your music in. It's not what we're looking for at the moment. Please send us more. So we had a stack of letters like that, and we called them our Nobody Loves Us letters back then in the 70s because, we were published. We had our good moments, and just nothing ever materialized to the point where it went any farther than that.
It sounds like.
But it will.
Yeah, I was just saying.
It will.
It sounds
Yeah.
like you've got some things cooking. You got some things cooking.
I do. I do.
A lot of possibilities out there.
Yep.
That's good. Very good.
I
Very
think
good.
probably within the next year, I'm going to put a band together and start performing some original music around Hartford. Connecticut.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
That'll be
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
A lot of
very
fun.
good. Well, like everybody, no matter what your life's work has been, your job, your profession, what are a couple of the big lessons? What do you take away from your life in terms of what has Paul Lombardo learned about people, about life, about himself? What are some of the lessons that life has taught you?
Gratitude,
For
patience, pig-headed determination. Happiness. That's what I've come to learn is peace is where it's at. Happiness is where it's at. It's the only thing I need. Inspiration comes from we don't know where. It just happens. And there's a lot of things growing up that you do that you would probably want to change. Few things anyways. And just come to the realization that happiness and loving life and being kind and all the good things is the benefits. That's what I like.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you were given life, nature, God, whatever you want.
God blessed me
however you want to put it in.
with a gift of
You were
music.
given a gift,
I was given a gift.
and you've used it. You've used it.
It's used me, I've used it. We bathe together, we are one. It's really nice. It's a great way to express yourself. It's a great way to get your views across, get your point across. This other song that they're going to play is called I Had You. And it's a great reflection on a woman in a relationship. And it's just wonderful to create stories and put them to music.
Living on the other side of the hill. Someday I'll make my way back home. Thinking back on this crazy life I've lived, I'm grateful for the people I have known. But the cream rose to the top when I met you. You took my edges and you made them smooth. I love your heart, it never ends. You will forever be my trusted friend. Bury my ashes in the ground, write on my stone when my life is through. Dying was worth living, 'cause I had you. Dying was worth living, 'cause I had you. I wake up every morning with a satisfied soul. You changed the man I am, I thank God. I live each day with gratitude. I'm so blessed for living the life that I've got. I love your heart, it never ends. You will forever be my trusted friend. Bury my ashes in the ground, write on my stone when my life is through. Dying was worth living, 'cause I had you. Dying was worth living, 'cause I had you. We're a flame that burns on and on and on, together in love, that's where we belong. my life is through. Dying was worth living, 'cause I had you. Dying was worth living, 'cause I had you.
It's interesting what we all learn from our experiences.
Yes.
People learn different things from depending upon their experiences about life.
Yeah.
What any have you ever read a book that really kind of hit home?
I'm reading one now.
What are you reading now?
I'm studying the Course in Miracles, and that's one of the best books I've ever read, and I haven't finished it yet. That's one of the best books I've ever read.
Yeah, I've taken a look at it. Our mutual friend, Mark
Yeah.
Rubenstein.
I know somebody who
he
teaches
runs
it,
that.
yeah.
He has a group. Yeah.
But that's it's at this point in my life, I want to wake up, be happy, know my family's good, know the people that I'm associated with are good, all well and good, and just be happy.
Yeah.
I know it sounds Pollyanna, but it's so true.
Yeah, I think that's something that everybody seems to be desiring of peace and happiness. Unfortunately, it's for a lot of people it's elusive. It can be a struggle to get there, but
Well, it's work. To a degree, it's work. You have choices in life. Sometimes I've made bad choices, and sometimes I've made good choices.
yeah.
And it's
Well, I guess the important thing is that
it's all a journey,
again,
Jeff.
have you I guess that the good part of even the bad choices hopefully it can be a source
No,
of
we all learn from
of
our mistakes,
wisdom.
right?
Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Do we learn? Some people continue on their lives and make bad choices, and really don't learn.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a good idea to reflect on those choices that we make, and turning like in Buddhism they talk about turning poison into medicine.
Correct.
So you had a bad experience. Well, what did I learn from that? How can I grow from that?
Mm-hmm.
How can I get wiser from these choices? And like you said, yeah, life is a journey. That's all about.
It definitely is. It's been a great one.
Yeah.
And I look forward to the rest of my journey.
Well, we thank you for sharing your journey thus far.
Thank you very much.
And I hope it's a long way from being over. You got some great stuff to look forward to.
I do, yeah.
And I want to thank you for being with us and sharing Paul Lombardo's story and your experiences.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
Very good. Well, folks, hope that you enjoyed the interview and the music and the videos that we've inserted into it. Our great technicians, Mike and David, have been really great. And sitting here on the side, kind of coaching us along, are my good buddy, Mark Rubenstein, has been very helpful. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care.